starts right now.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Bob Evans. A multi-agency effort to rescue two boaters who called 911 as their boat overturned on Utah Lake. Fox 13 News reporter Jeremy Tom spoke with one of the men who made it back to dry land safely tonight. Joins us live with what was said about that experience. Jeremy.
Yeah, good evening, Bob. It's a much calmer scene out here now, but you might be able to hear the wind gusts picking up in my microphone. It was a windy day that created choppy waters, and that proved a dangerous day out here on Utah Lake, particularly this evening for Devin Tobler and his sailboat. He says he was out sailing with a friend. They left the American Fork Marina around 2 p.m. today, and it was several hours later that they came back to pick up another friend. Right as they were going to do that, they noticed that the conditions were getting pretty serious, and they ended up getting the better of his gut feeling and his intuition.
Wind in a sailboat's perfect, but Utah Lake is tricky because it's shallow, so the chops get thick quick. The lips get high. And when you pair those with downward wind force, you can sometimes just tip over like that. So,
an avid sailor, Tobler says, as his boat started to go down, he stayed on it long enough to grab his phone and call 911. That ended up being crucial because he says they surprisingly saw no one else out on the water for about 45 minutes. That's about how long they were stranded out there. He says they sat on top of their boat waiting several miles offshore as law enforcement officials put together a multi-agency effort launching from several different Utah County boat ramps and making that rescue in under an hour. Now back on dry ground, even amid this chaotic evening, Tobler says he didn't feel panicked.
I love sailing. It's even in those super stressful situations, it's like Zen, kind of. It's a really nice flow, and I mean, even going down, I was like, I don't know, it was calming in a sense.
He says he's an experienced waterman and diver, and so too is his friends, so they weren't too worried for themselves tonight. But law enforcement officials thanked them for going out prepared and particularly for wearing life jackets, because otherwise this story could have looked very different in the end. Now, instead, he's only going home with a pretty serious sunburn, and he's lost some valuables, but Tobler tells me he is just grateful it was not any worse. Live at Utah Lake State Park, I'm Jeremy Toms. Bob, I'll send it back to you.